Well, it looks like we've had a little bit of movement. Friday, yeah? This is what we get with the good old Forex markets, the legacy markets, crypto market. Bitcoin takes that nice sweep to the upside, but still cannot surpass the 38,500. Like we said, we would need to see a break of 38,500, come down to retest it, and then continue from that point. Now, give or take, Bitcoin does move in an unorthodox fashion, but in today's live stream, I'm going to hope that we do get some movement and continue to get back up above the 38.5. Because if Bitcoin doesn't do it, ciao, ciao. Yippee-ki-yay to the downside. That's exactly what's going to happen. Too many times Bitcoin has hit this range and rejected from it quite aggressively. We're going to be diving in today to work out what we need to see to suggest Bitcoin's going to continue with this move. Now, if you don't have profits locked in, get them locked in, ladies and gentlemen. Call this video as a warning. Bitcoin might pull the dirty today, so keep that in your minds. Mad love and respect for passing through. I'm very delayed, by the way. I'm a little bit slow today. I'm operating on zero sleep. I've got 2 hours. I went to bed at 12:30 and I woke up at 2. And I've been awake since then. Like, that's what you do when you want to get rest. So if I start running my mouth and start going off on one, you'll know why. So let's get with the flavor, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Cool. So let's just get the good old book map up a second, because that bad boy was meant to be running and it just hasn't done its thing. What's going on, chat, anyway? What is good? I hope everyone is doing well today. We got Friday. Yeah, we got news announcements coming out very shortly. 3 p.m. We got the PMI coming out. Here we go. So we got the book map on its way and running. We'll just kill that bad boy right there. Okay, then. So what have we got, guys? We've got Bitcoin clearing the 38.5 zone. Unfortunately, if Bitcoin doesn't continue, we're going to have a problem. Now, again, if you remember, guys, this week we've been talking about the range daily high, and today I'm going to dive into the story of the point of control. Had a little bit of a discussion with good old Mike, and we spoke about the point of control in various ways on how to understand it and why it's important that the asset that you are trading, if it's very volatile, your point of control is going to be changing. If it's not so volatile, the point of control will be stagnant and it will stay where it is, and it's a good place to understand if support or resistance is present in the chart. So I'm going to be getting into that bad boy very shortly with good old exo charts to explain exactly what I'm talking about. But let's just go over to the daily time frame for a second. Now, some of you have been noticing that when we've been talking about Bitcoin, as long as it's been maintaining the 5 and 13 EMA, price will be climbing higher. And I saw a comment in the channel and someone said, oh, he's a perma bull now. Like, come on, bruv. What do you want me to do? If price is going up, I only favor movement, whether it's up or down. You call me perma bear, perma bull, perma shut the but that's another story. Anyways, we can see from a holder's perspective that the 5 and 13 EMA have been acting as perfect points to load up. Every time we did a live stream and Bitcoin was below the 13 EMA, I gave you the heads up to suggest that you wait for the next candle to confirm. If price can get above it, ideally you're looking for a close. But if you're sensing the momentum is present and it gets back up above the 13 EMA, then you'll be looking to take that shot and say, you know what? I'm going to run along and take advantage of it coming away from the lows. If you did that, you would have succeeded in principle once, twice, sort of 3 times here. And this one right here with no take on the 13 EMA was just a follow through. However, this day's candle is so important for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin cannot close above these price points today, so I'm going to go with the top side of 38,453, and then this point right here, 38,410. Why are these points significant? Well, it's not that they're really significant, but it just suggests to me that the psychology of traders within this zone is where people get trapped. Now they've just been confirmed. They've just confirmed that Bitcoin's going up. You go over to the high block, you can see bright as day. We've got some very interesting positions. Right here, let me just change that. It's done it again, but never mind. It's all good. Here we go. Right here, we've got someone that went long, roughly around $14 million worth of longs. Oh, that's Ethereum. Let me just get BTC up. Yeah, man, my day's going crazy right now. Here we go. So, you've got at the top side of Bitcoin, we just zoom in for you. You can see $17 million worth of longs. You've got 19. You've also got $29 million worth of longs and $40 million worth of longs. Unfortunately, they've all been liquidated, okay? But then look where they went long, man. They went long from the highest point. And that's what this zone is all about. This area here is consistent with stops. They run for the stops and they come back. This is why I'm not trustworthy of the move to the upside, but I'm not saying Bitcoin won't continue to go higher indefinitely. What I'm saying is they're in the flow of hitting stops, because when they hit a critical price point, they instantly reverse it back down again. So they're trapping traders. Now, this trapping behavior could continue all the way up towards 40K, and then Bitcoin will then roll over from that point. That's what we would assume. But as long as the 5 and 13 EMA maintain their stance as trending upwards, we progressively understand that Bitcoin is slowly but surely climbing, okay? Now, Bitcoin, in principle, if it hits 40K, it's only 27,000 away from its high. That's not too far away when you think about it, okay? So is now a good time for Bitcoin to be moving up, considering the halving, considering the ETF? Let's just put that into perspective now. Would you want an expensive Bitcoin or would you want a cheaper Bitcoin? This is what I mean about these zones here. These zones are consistent with spikes to the upside, okay? Hitting traders' commitments, getting them to go long and pulling it straight back. What we got here? Mad love RTB. Thank you very much, bro. Thank you very much. Okay, then. Let me just talk about this story of point of control, just to get you guys to understand what we're talking about, okay? So in front of you right now, we have the depth of market, okay? Let me just move this. I hate it every time it does it. It always does this. There we go. So you've got Bitcoin's depth of market in this chart right here, okay? This is the depth, right? As it stands right now, we've got the VWAP, which shows price point of 38,324, okay? You've also got, at the top side, this area here, which says the point of control. Now, what's the point of control? Well, everyone understands the point of control as where the majority of the volume has transacted at. But what volume? What's so important about this point? It's the basis of the bids and the asks. As long as the bid and the ask, okay, give themselves, let me just put this here. If the bid and the ask are transacting aggressively at a specific point, we understand that to be the point of control. Now, the key thing with the point of control is this. If you can see, I don't know if you can because I can't zoom in with Exo charts, but it says here that there's 1,400 on the sell side, 1,500 on the buy side. Now, we understand that to be 1,400 orders on the bids, 1,500 orders on the ask. Now, what's so significant about this and the point of control? Well, just because there's 2,800 orders there, how are you going to use this information to work out if Bitcoin's going to come to this point and reverse from it or come to this point and move away from it? That's where the bid and the ask come into play. If there are more bids inside of the point of control, you would assume that when price gets to that point, it's going to sell off. Likewise, if there's more asks on the point of control, you're going to assume that when it gets to that point, an influx of traders are going to come in and be saying, look, I want to buy Bitcoin. So price in principle will be moving away from it. It's important you focus on the bid and the ask of the point of control, not the amount of volume in total. 2.8K doesn't tell you nothing. All it tells you is that's how much total volume has come into play. So if we didn't know what the bid and the ask profile was, how would we know that that point of control was favoring longs or shorts? You wouldn't, would you? So that's why you must always pay attention to the bid and the ask. Now, there are a number of strategies behind the bid and the ask. You can take advantage of the bid and the ask in the sense of where there are effectively imbalances. So here's an example. You see this area here? There's not that many contracts inside of there. The market would like to come back and visit that point at some stage to try and get the profile to be a little bit thicker. All right? We go down here. We've got another bit of a profile where Bitcoin is currently working right now. So let's put the logic of the point of control together with the VWAP. Right now, the VWAP is the volume weighted average price. So you can see there's only 1,300 contracts at that point. What's on the bids and the ask? You can see that there are more asks at the VWAP than there are bids. That means if price makes its way towards the VWAP, we should see Bitcoin break through the VWAP. Why? Because the logic says that at 829 people on the ask, that means those guys are going to have a good memory and they're going to be like, you know what? I want to buy again. So they'll put their orders inside of there to suggest price to get filled. Okay? This is how you use the VWAP, and this is how you use the point of control. Now, you can take advantage of trading opportunities, and like I said, focus on the bid and the ask, because the total doesn't tell you nothing. Look, 1.3K right there on the VWAP, but then down below at 38,308, you've got 1.3K right there. Why is that the VWAP? Why is that not the VWAP? Why is it not a bigger figure? It's just the average sits at that 38,324. So let's try and put together this story right now and trade the idea or the logic of Bitcoin trying to surpass this point. So what do you need to look for? If you think that at that point right there, Bitcoin is going to break through it, what do you need to see happening beforehand? You need to see more guys on the more guys on the ask coming in as aggressive buyers to see price going up, okay? Now, if you're not seeing that and you're seeing a collection of guys going on the bids, that means price is going to be going down because they're bidding it. They're bidding it lower. Sometimes they can bid it up. Sometimes they bid it down. But you really got to say to yourself, okay, there is a significant point right here. I need to wait and see how the collection of the asks come into play here to assume that once they get towards the VWAP, they're going to break through that because the memory of these guys over here should be triggered. So they're going to be like, you know what? I want to get involved in this. And that should send price higher. Are we all on the same page, ladies and gentlemen? Okay. What's the question by Vic? Vic. What's the question? I can't see your question, Victoria. Is it Victoria? Okay. All right. So we're good with that, yeah? All right, then. The same logic applies to the book map. Okay. Now, the book map is based on orders that are trying to be filled and orders that haven't been filled. Orders that have not been filled are down below. Those are longs. And orders that haven't been filled above are sells. So let's just understand the bid and the ask relationship right here. What do we see? Well, we see that there is a lot of guys favoring higher prices. Zoom out. What do you see? Look at the top side. You can see there's commitment yet again inside of that range. Okay. Now, the two key areas of support for Bitcoin based on orders that have been placed and canceled. That will take you to these two price points right here. So that will be 38,100 and 38,500. And then the final area of support will be this range right here, which effectively will be 37,000 and 37,500. Okay. Now, with that being said, after Bitcoin's move to the upside, we're obviously on the understanding that there's going to be a bit of a retrace, which is exactly what is happening right now. Now, if this move has been engineered to trap traders, then Bitcoin is going to be coming straight back down. Okay? Now, what have we got in front of us that we need to pay close attention to? We've got vector candles by the tone of 3. 1, 2, 3 hits, violet vector candle, recovery, rip it back down again. We're at the 5 and 13 EMA. Bitcoin has to hold this point. Otherwise, it's going to roll over. At minimum, you would want to see a retrace as soon as possible. The sooner they retrace, the sooner they can restart the buying program again and then shift price back up again. Because that would, in principle, get people to go short. Okay? That's the logic. Now, let's just take this same logic back and go with exo charts. What's going on here? Are we seeing more people hitting the bids? Sells. Okay? Looks like it's going down. Now, Bitcoin has moved away from its value area low, and there's still interest down here. And when price comes away from the area of value, that usually means that they're looking for discounts, and then they're going to try and get it on the cheap to effectively bring it back up, which is why when Bitcoin goes into a value area low, it's consistent with reversals. Okay? What else we got? Hey, man, how you doing? Can you explain the difference logarithmic and linear, and which one is best to be used in a higher time frame, daily or above? In what respect? What you're trying to do? What style of trading do you have? Answer that, and then I'll get back to you. Point of control, not how busy the auction is. It's what they are doing at the busiest time at the auction. That is correct. And you want to know if the guys at the auction are looking to lift price or drop it. And you know that by bids and asks. Okay, so it's very important. We're starting to see a little bit of flavor coming into the charts right now. The market ain't even open just yet, so we're going to see that action. But look, this is what I want to draw your attention to. Is I want to keep it here because I want you to see what happens. Look at this here. You see this? This is 1,800 contracts, right? There's 1.2K orders on the bid side, but there's only 574 on the ask. What does that tell you straight away? Tells you that could be an area of resistance because that's where some sellers are getting triggered. Take that logic, go back into the book map. What do we see? What was that price point? Let me just zoom in a second. Put this over here. Can you see that? There or thereabouts. Yeah, that'll do. Leave it like that. That'll work. Okay, cool. So that price point is 38,280, okay? Now, 38,280 puts us inside of this range right here on the book map, which is right here, okay? So I'm going to zoom in, and I want to try and show you something here. I hope it does it. So what we want to see is we want to see green bubbles, deltas, coming in to mark price up, okay? As long as they can mark price up, then that means that guys are coming in to lift the ask, okay? That's good news. As long as they can lift the ask, then they're going to build up the steam. Here we go. Someone just placed an order there, and they're canceling it, placing it, canceling it. So we understand that we need to start seeing commitment coming. You see that? Someone's placing an order at 38,250. So these orders haven't been placed just yet, but they're going to hope that they're getting filled, okay? Back into EXO. What have we got? Still holding out. It's playing up and down, up and down. This boring-ass coin doesn't do anything when we need it to. Here we go. Now we got our deltas coming into play. Nice. 38,250. 38,280 is what we want. 38,280 right here. Okay? We need to see how they transact. Now, I can dive in a little bit deeper on this and talk to you about the pulling and the stacks, which is this column right here. Don't know if you can see it, but you can see the numbers are continuously changing. They're going from minus to positive. Here we go. We need to make sure at 38,280, we need to see the ask increase, which is the blue one over here. It's currently at 574. Look at how they're slowly trying to creep up. The bids keep on getting pulled. Well, actually, they're stacking them. Here we go. Here we go. These aren't trading opportunities. This is to get you to understand the development of a move. Here we go. 38,280. Here we go. Are they going to transact on it? Is there going to be a profile on there? We need to see guys coming in on the ask to mark it up. So we're at 574 on the ask, 1.2 on the bids. Here we go. Can't take it. Waiting for it. Here we go. Going to try and do it. There we go. Right. 633. All right. So from 574 to 633, someone came in. No one came in on the sell, on the bids, because it stayed at 1.2. It might have gone by 10 or 15, but it still stayed at 1.2. So that's telling me someone's stepping in right now. that logic should lead me up towards the VWAP because someone's clearly stepping in. Look, 642 now. Now the next profile, 467, 475. Okay, the sell side, it's not really moving as much as I would expect it to, but that tells me that the guys are lifting the ask. So they've got favor to move up. Okay? So that's how you monitor it. Now, the next biggest point is at 2.5K, which there's 1.2K there and 1.3. We're going to take the same logic and think of it. Look, here we go. We're getting the movement. So we're going to assume that that's going to be the case. Are we going to get a bigger transaction, which will make it to 1.4 on the ask side? We're going to wait and see. Here we go. Is he going to do it? 370 on the bids, on the ask, 72, 397 on the bids. So there's a little bit of selling happening right now. And your goal is to effectively understand the auction place. See, now the bids have overseen. Look, 402, but they still mark price up. So the sellers could be getting absorbed by the buyers. Okay, here we go, 1.3, 1.2. We need to see this change aggressively to assume that they're going to try and make their way to the VWAP, because that's one of the next biggest points in the chart, or significant points in the chart, where they like to buy below it and sell through it to the upside. Okay, Euro's moving up. Here we go. 1.3K right there. Still not done it yet. They're adding to they're pulling from the stack. They're pulling from the profile. So that's not good. I need to see them adding to the profile on the bid side. So they're bidding it up. And we're going to assume that that's going to be the case, right? See, now it's coming back down. See, we've gone back into that zone previously. 650 now. So they added to those contracts, and the 1.2 has stayed at 1.2. So it looks like no one's selling from that point. Tell you what, maybe someone could sell higher. Maybe we could encourage people to step in and buy. So that's where the market will say, you know what, I'm going to gravitate to where the point of interest is, or where I can get people's understanding of buying and selling based on moving price. That's what the market, the algorithm in principle, is going to navigate to areas of value. Now, inside of these algorithms that are programmed to process these orders, you've got various versions of the algorithm. Some of the algorithms are programmed to take orders that have got priority. You've got algorithms that will just take, I think it's first come, first serve. It's based on the principle of first come, first serve. In other words, whoever hits the bids or the ask first, their order is. It gets filled. It doesn't matter if you've been sat in the order book for 2 days and your order hasn't been taken. It's whoever's in front with the most amount of liquidity. And this is what you're trying to work out when you're trading the depth of market, okay? Euro trying to make a move up. Market will be opening in 5 minutes' time. We're going to see a little bit of activity coming into play with Bitcoin. But look, here we are. So we're close towards this point, and then I'll get back into the charts. Here we go. Come on. 2.5K right there. The point of control for Bitcoin is 2.8. So another 300 contracts, the point of control could change. Here we go. It's not changed. It's not changed. So they've gone straight through it. No one's interested. So they're going to mark up. There's that VWAP. Now here's the point. This is the critical point. 829 on the bid, on the ask. 487 on the bids. Now we're going to do the same logic. If we're not seeing the interest coming in at this point, they should trigger something at the VWAP. Okay? Here we go. 829. Waiting for it. 38,324. We said this earlier on. It's an important point in the chart. Slowly but surely trying to creep up to the VWAP. Bookmap, back into it. Little deltas coming into play. Cool. Come on. Come on, Bitcoin. 3829. They're adding orders in that area to effectively get filled. They need to be adding to the stacks, man. They need to be adding, man. They're pulling it off. Here we go. Come on then. Make that move. 1.2, 1.3. Still not done it just yet. Still not done it. Still holding out. Let's have a look. Bookmap's going up. We're seeing the commitment coming in back to the VWAP. That's on Bookmap. This is the 36-hour VWAP. This is the 24-hour one because it's based on the day's session. So it's not fully complete yet. So whilst Bitcoin does that, just remember these numbers, okay? 829, 487 at the 38,324, okay? That's what we're looking for. All right? Cool. Let's go on to other time frames right now. Let's have a look at what Bitcoin's doing on the 5-minute. Here we go. So Bitcoin on the 5-minute time frame. So see now, right, you're looking at this candlestick and you're saying to yourself, well, how much information am I missing by just looking at candlesticks? Well, the vector candles give you the heads up to this activity inside the bid and the ask. Because these candlesticks in principle are based off the ticks. So how often price changes, right? So here we go. Getting close to the VWAP. Here we go. 829487. Just take the... Just do it, bro. Come on. Make the move. Here we go. Now you see on the other profiles, you've got 596, 7116, 890 right there. So some sells came into that point. We're getting so close to that VWAP at 1.3. No success. Red vector candle coming into play. So we should see Bitcoin coming up from this point. Here we go. So close. Here we go. VWAP. Right. 829487. If you can't see, I'll tell you exactly what the figures are. So close to hitting it. What we want to see is if there's going to be sellers or buyers at this point. If they flush through it, they want higher prices. Look, see, you see how they're just moving up and down? Yeah? Someone's inside of here selling. So I'm seeing more on the bids than there are on the ask. 898 at 38318 and 748. You got to remember, guys, it will only take one order to shift Bitcoin up. That player could be coming in, finalizing a much bigger order, or he wants to, start a big order, and he could start off with like 500 contracts. Bang, sends Bitcoin up. Market's like, oh my God, 500 contracts. So we've got buyers coming in. Cool. And up it goes. Okay. Again, stalling. Not doing it. Unfortunately. The time is now 29 minutes past. They should be making the move right now. They should be making the move right now. I'm on the desktop version. The latest one, I believe. Here we go. Right, so we've gone back into that 1.3, 1.2. It's now 1.3, 1.3. So there was some sellers there, but now price has gone back up. They're absorbing it. So the market's like, you know what? I'm going to come down a little bit. Let me just get some more contracts. Up we go. Here we go. Come on. The market's open now. Make your move. Come on. Look at that. And this is a perfect example of establishing support and resistance. Here we go. 832, 844, 845, no sales on the 487. Okay? Only a few, but nothing in comparison to the 845. They jumped up. So now we've surpassed the VWAP. Okay? That logic should say the next interesting point in the chart is all the way up here where the biggest profile is, which is the point of control. Now, Bitcoin's going to take a little while to come up to this, but look at the profile itself. It's empty. There's very little orders here. So Bitcoin's going to be playing this game. Up and down, up and down, up and down until it gets the pushes to go higher, which will then effectively bring Bitcoin all the way up towards 2.8 point of control. Look at the profile. It's empty. They need to make this profile full. Okay? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you understand. I mean, we haven't even discussed the point of control. But look, the dialogue of conversation that we've just had about the VWAP, working out whether you should take a long or a short, purely off the idea of the bid and the ask, these are little edges that you can add to your trading repertoire. By simply looking at candlesticks, you can get a heads up that there's activity happening, which is the vector candles. But this is going to help you understand whether you should take the retrace or not. So now look, say you took a long in this point. Where would your stop be? Well, your stop in principle could be at a specific point, but you want to focus on how the bid and the ask is behaving. So just slightly above that VWAP, you've got sell orders. Look, 1,000 sell orders and 766 buys. So we're starting to hit some sellers right now. Can we see that? Pulling back down. Chart, pulling back. Okay then. So we understand that there's a little bit of a problem in here. What do we need to see? The asking price to mark up. Okay? Cool. Let's quickly go into Ethereum, ladies and gentlemen. Same story there. All right? Now, Ethereum moves just a little bit faster. All right? You've got to be careful with Ethereum. But Ethereum does move really well. That's why I prefer Ethereum over Bitcoin. Now, check this out. So this is Ethereum's profile. Now you can see the orders a little bit more clearer with Ethereum. All right? And I can get a better sense of it. Now, the VWAP is all the way up here with 33,000 contracts, but this is the 5-day profile. Right now, we're in an area which is consistent with reversals, okay? So I'm looking now. I can see 251 orders came in on the ask. Sales not really that much in that zone. The asking is pulling off the order because they don't want to get caught out. The bids are bidding up. The logic says that we expect Ethereum to try and mark up towards the next profile up here. All you're doing is chasing shapes. You're chasing the shapes of the profiles, ladies and gentlemen. The thicker the profile, if you're at the lows, if there is a profile that's really thick, price is naturally going to magnetize towards that point because that's where it can get the most activity. That's why you see price moving so fast, so it can get to those points. All right? Cool. Are we good, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, how is that? Tino, you said the market was open, but it was only 9:28. Dave, I'm sorry. Sorry, man. My bad. Forgive me. So it looks like it's just a bleed across the board. Euro doesn't understand what a retrace means. It just drops. That's what Euro does. It's an altcoin. It just doesn't do anything but drop. But that being said, Euro is coming from a weekly cycle from the upside, so you can't really blame Euro, and it's on its way to its cousin called Uncle Vector, smacking these 1.8 zones at some point in the future, okay? But with that being said, BNB ain't going to move. Matic has been showing some interesting flavor. It's completed near enough our little pattern that we drew off yesterday. And XRP ain't really doing much. Steve tried to call me just then. Never mind. USD JPY holding out, hit one of our targets. That's good news. Gold getting ready to pull some flavor. Narrowly missing our day's range. Oil, very tricky. Very tricky oil is. Very tricky. So be careful with oil. I'm going back into Bitcoin 4-hour time frame. Look, guys, the move is still sustained to the upside until we see a break of the 5 and 13 EMA on the 1-hour time frame. If they do not invalidate the 5 and 13 EMA on the 1-hour time frame, we are all good to go, okay? But you're going to have to be a bit brave to start loading longs in here. Make sure you're using something like this or to the effect, okay? Look now, VWAP, it's moved away. 1.3789, okay, so we're all good. Volume's there, so they're holding. If you decide to take a long, hypothetically, from this point, you have an understanding of how price has behaved in this area. And you know that if they do surpass the VWAP and continue to go down, you're going to close with conviction because then you're going to understand that price has been effectively overwhelmed by the sellers and the buyers. They just can't seem to get on with it. And then it just rolls over. That way, you're not just saying, I'm going to set my stop loss at 38,129 because it's the last area of support. That's bullshit. You need to understand how much pressure there is behind the buyers and the sellers at each point in the chart. And when you stare at it long enough, you're going to see it, how there is a relationship of the pull and the tug, right? The push and pull, right? When you get a sense for that, you'll kind of know if there's momentum behind the move. Every time you watch Bitcoin drop down, it comes straight back up. That to you tells you that someone's quickly hitting on the ask. I want to quickly buy. That means someone on the bid's like, oh, you can sell to me, but I want to sell it, mark it up a bit more, okay? Remember, when someone is selling to the ask, remember, sell to the ask, you buy. You sell to the bid. When you buy from the bid, they sell, okay? Because you can't buy if no one sells, and you can't sell if no one buys. It is confusing with the ask and the bid, but that's the basis of how you understand the bid and the ask profile. Okay? Cool. Are you a clown, bro? I'm a clown, bro. Well, you're a mug. A coffee mug. You know? Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, mad love and respect. I'll be checking in with you all Monday because I'm not going live tonight. So like I said to you all, just be very careful with your trading. Take some money off the table and let Bitcoin work its magic going into tonight. All right? Take care of yourselves, gang. Mad love and respect. Peace.